Met, Jose Reyes is arrested and charged with domestic abuse. Should Major League Baseball suspend him? And Rex Ryan returned to MetLife Stadium with the Buffalo Bills.
And all hell is breaking loose in the daily fantasy sports website DraftKings and FanDuel after New York Attorney General banned them from operating in New York State. We'll talk to our Glory Days fantasy expert, Mike Ferrara, about the impact.
And in our Did You Hear About segment, the Russians are caught allowing their athletes to use steroids and may be banned from the 2016 Olympics. The co-owner of the Devils lands his helicopter in the middle of a kid's soccer field. And we all know the Patriots are cheaters, but how do they win more coin flips than any other NFL team?
The best hour of your sports week is coming up on Glory Days right now.
Inravio.com.
Hello again, everybody. Today is Saturday, November 14th, 2015, and you are watching The Glory Days Show with Bruce and Disco. My name is Paul Discofani. This is my good friend, Bruce Oler. Eric Mikhailov and Bonnie Schultz are behind the glass, and you are joining us on the Inravio TV network, broadcasting live from Studio C in the great state of New York. Good morning.
How are you today?
So far, so good. It's really nice out.
Yeah, it's windy though, man. You know, I tell you,
I almost had a Donald Trump this morning.
like I did last week, but I got my haircut since then, you know.
I need a haircut desperately.
Well, there you go. There you go.
But this is nice weather. It's fall now.
Yeah.
I'm feeling it. As long as it doesn't rain. Although, did you see all the news reports of all the people getting snowed?
No.
Snow, oh man.
Where's that?
Up in like Wisconsin, and I just don't want any more snow. I just don't want it.
You can always move.
I know, but if I moved, what would we do with this show?
We were Skyping, I guess. I don't know. I'd be sitting here, and you'd be Skyping in from wherever. Okay.
Yeah. Well, you know, the thing is with everything that had been going on with the Mets in the month of, you know, especially with the exciting September we had, and then with the postseasons and stuff, most Met fans woke up to find out that the football season has already played 7 or 8 weeks.
Yeah, and hockey is going on pretty strong too.
Hockey's going on. Yep. There's a lot of stuff that we missed in the month of
that we didn't cover for sure. Yeah,
you know.
But I guess so. The first story is really, I guess, Rex Ryan's return to MetLife Stadium.
He returned to MetLife Stadium on Thursday with his new team, the Buffalo Bills. Mm-hmm. And they were wearing these bright red pajamas as the NFL promoted Color Rush, which really should have been called a cash grab. So the fans would have to buy another football jersey. But Ryan, who should have returned as a conquering hero, was booed as he jogged onto the playing field for what many fans felt was a disrespectful move by naming I.K. Enampali a co-captain. Talk about a slap in the face to the Jets organization, Geno Smith, and the fans. I mean, most fans were sad to see Ryan leave, feeling that the last few years were under duress under the result, and the results were undermined by GM John Idzik.
Not undermined.
Undermined.
Okay.
And we loved the feisty Rex, but it was time to move on.
Yeah.
But instead of getting a hero's welcome, he got a Bronx cheer. But Ryan, of course, got the last laugh as his bumbling Bills almost blew a 22-3 lead to the Jets, holding them off in the end and finally winning.
The Jets, I think the Jets should have won that game anyway. But before that, you know, you mentioned something about bringing this, and I'm not going to pronounce his last name like you did.
I.K.
I'm just going to call him I.K. Okay?
I.K. works.
So when, I guess he announced that, I think, on Monday, Rex did. So I always pick up the Post. Then on Tuesday, I forgot what the headline was, but it really infuriated me, saying, how can this knucklehead? I mean, he's just trying to pour salt on the wounds here.
Absolutely.
But once you read the article, okay, it's tradition. I don't know if it's tradition
That's what he
NFL-wise,
said.
or certainly
No,
for him it is.
He said it's his tradition.
So
that traditionally, he will, if he's got former players on the
that's
team,
right.
he'll
That's
make
right.
them
Or
count.
he said, or if they were born in that state, he would also do that. So,
again,
so he was just staying true to his tradition, And once I saw that, I had calmed down about it, And I really felt it was a non-story, but, evidently, like you say, he still got booed.
All right. Well, of course, he used Richie Incognito.
Yeah.
In Miami.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. The same thing. So I mean, once I read that, I said, well, that might have been a stupid move too. But again, it's that tradition,
And you know what? What is a captain in the NFL?
Yeah.
It's nothing.
Yeah.
You're just walking out to the field. It's not like you have special powers like the captain on a hockey
Although
team.
we will have a story later on where maybe he does if he's going for the New England Patriots, because he's going to know it's going to,
Somebody's got to make that coin flip call.
That's right. That's right. It's got to be an intelligent decision you make.
But I want
heads or tails.
I have to ask you though, as an IT professional, and a consultant.
Okay. Well, you know what? You got to hold that off for 1 second, because I do have one more comment to make about when IK came out.
Okay.
The best story I read was that the Jets should have made Geno Smith a captain, and he could have handed him the check. Because he got punched out because he owed him some money, right, for a
Although he
flight
claims
he didn't take.
that he didn't owe him any money, and that's what the whole dispute was about. He claims he didn't owe him any money.
But would that have been classic? I mean, go out there and hand him a check,
I think it would have been great
When he
if
was put in his sock, man.
If he had just punched him in the face.
Well, anything could have happened, really.
Well, you know what Todd Bowles says? Todd Bowles says he didn't want to do that. He says he was going to do that, but he says, you know what? It's just a silly thing. I think that Rex likes to do that.
Oh yeah,
and
well,
he's done it before.
he likes to stir the pot. A little distraction, a little deception going on there and stuff like
but
that.
I also think that it is the perfect way to get away with it.
Oh yeah, that's right. That's
it's
right.
the
That's right.
perfect
He's diabolical in his own right, just like Bill Belichick.
Yeah. I always do.
These guys might all be Lex Luthor if you really think about it.
You know what? I'd like to know if he ever did that when he was on the Jets. Have you ever heard of that strategy? Or actually?
Yeah, I think I have. I think I have.
But I never. I don't.
I think he
remember
probably
it being
made
a
Bart
story
Scott
ever.
a captain. I'm sure I'm almost positive he's done that. But you were going to ask me a question as an IT professional. I've been waiting with bated breath, waiting for that one.
Okay, well, you know that as an IT professional, as a person that has done system installations, right? You need to build the system.
Yes.
You need to test the system.
Absolutely.
And the most important part of testing is not so much making sure that what you're testing works, but knowing what you need to test.
Yes.
Okay. Well, the NFL screwed up with their...
Does that have to do with the pressure of inflated balls?
No.
Okay, something else.
Their cold rush uniforms.
Okay.
Okay.
That's what this was?
Yes, that's what they call
the
them.
pajamas these guys
They're
are
doing
wearing?
it for 4 games. Okay. They looked at it, they said everything looks great. They tested it, they did everything. You know what they did not test it with? People who are colorblind.
Oh, okay. Well,
okay.
yeah.
If you are colorblind, and
I
know
am.
you're partially colorblind.
I am. Well, partially. I think it's either or you are.
Okay. Then you should have had a problem discerning the 2 sets of uniforms, other than looking at the helmets, because they're both about the same shade of gray, in a grayscale.
Okay.
And a lot of colorblind people were complaining to the NFL that they couldn't distinguish between the 2 teams. Normally, in an NFL game, you have a color jersey and a white jersey, which is very easy to distinguish, because even if you're watching the game in the old days, you had black and white television.
Yeah, I guess I did have a little problem with that, but...
And they said, and when you, and I guess I should have pulled the graphic, but for the non-colorblind people. But they showed it in grayscale, And you know what? You couldn't tell the difference between the two teams unless you looked at their helmet.
Yeah.
So the NFL issued an apology.
To all colorblind people?
To all colorblind people.
I'm going to have to accept that apology on behalf of my brethren. I guess, I don't know. I'm feeling presidential. I'm president of the colorblind club. Okay, I don't know.
The CBC?
Not the CBC. You know?
So the NFL has vowed that from now on, anytime they do anything new,
well, they will
part
always
of the testing will be for colorblind.
Okay, so they're I guess when they're test marketing things, okay,
Right,
when they're using their focus group will include a representative from the CBC.
CBC.
Okay.
So don't forget, call Mr. Bruce Orr.
Well, there you go. That's right.
Just don't use his Facebook.
Yeah, I got hacked. I don't know about that, man. But now I feel that I can really.
He says he got hacked.
Now I can say anything about anybody and with impunity and say, "Well, it wasn't me." I mean, it was my arch rival.
You kept sending me things like, check out my new page, Little Pink Socks.
Keep it up, Disco.
I thought it was really you.
Yeah, I'm sure you did.
And I am now a member of Little Pink Socks.
And I am the president of CBC. Okay. All right. So another old friend to New York Mets was in the news this week. And, amazingly not, it wasn't Lenny Dykstra this time. This time it was our former shortstop, Jose Reyes. I know it says old there, but I don't like to use the word old. I really don't.
Just read what's on the teleprompter, goddammit.
There's nothing, all right. Former Met who was traded from Toronto to Colorado at the trading deadline in July, and he wasn't happy there, was arrested and charged with domestic abuse after arguing with his wife, Catherine, in their hotel room in Hawaii. Police reports indicate that Reyes grabbed his wife by the throat and shoved her into a sliding glass door. With everything else that has happened at the NFL and Commissioner Roger Goodell over the Cowboys' Greg Hardy recently, and last year's debacle about Ray Rice and Adrian Peterson, just how will new baseball commissioner Bob Manfred handle Reyes? Should he be suspended?
What do you think?
I think he should not.
Why is that?
Because I'm not prepared to answer the question.
Well, I think that he should be suspended.
Okay.
You know what?
On what grounds?
Because, first of all,
he had his Facebook account hacked.
Yeah. Okay. First of all, baseball, playing baseball is a privilege. It's not a right.
Yeah.
Okay? You have to be able to adhere to some sort of standards.
Yeah.
Okay? And I'm not saying that I am...
Like a code of conduct, that's what you're saying.
A code of conduct.
Okay, like is with the NFL, and that's what Roger Goodell uses as grounds.
How could a league like the NFL be suspending players for, what is essentially a quarter of their season, 4 games, for being involved in domestic abuse? And Major League Baseball say, well, it's okay. Our athletes can do it.
Yeah, you're right. And that was, again, I was not prepared to really answer the question. I should have seen that one coming, I mean, the thing is a little different, at least in the case of Ray Rice, is there was this damning, videotape of him slugging his wife. I mean,
And the same thing that recently came out with the Greg Hardy thing.
Yeah.
The fact that, first of all, the NFL got it right. They suspended him for 10 games.
Yeah.
But the arbitrator, the NFL Players Association, and they went to arbitration. They got it reduced to 4 games.
Yeah. Like they were doing with Brady, but they just threw the whole thing out.
Right, but all of a sudden now the video comes out, and it was really terrible. I mean, these athletes, I just don't understand. I mean, I know that they're
the video you're talking about now is Hardy?
Well, Hardy, not a video, but the photographs have come out.
Oh, okay.
Of Hardy and his girlfriend and the tremendously bad shape she was in.
Yeah.
But, I know athletes are people. And people sometimes are not good.
Well, that's right. They make mistakes.
And I mean, and we don't know. We weren't there. We don't know what they were arguing about or what may have led to it or, what she might have been doing before he grabbed her by the throat and shoved her head into a sliding glass door. But the fact that that's what you did, you have to be responsible
for
your
Well, that's right.
actions.
Yeah, that's right. That's exactly right. You have to be responsible for your actions.
So,
So, okay, so let's take this. So the NFL, like you say, there's a quarter of the season. So
Right,
in
usually
the case
4
of,
games.
So in the case of like a baseball player, a quarter of the season is like 40 games. Is what it is, right?
You know, so I'm
So,
not
so you
saying
think
that
he should be suspended for 40 games?
But I mean, you know, you got to do something.
Yeah.
Either that, or why can't the team come out and say, you know what, this is. I mean, to be realistic, why would you want to be associated with a player like this? Now, I know the difference between NFL and Major League Baseball is Major League Baseball contracts are guaranteed. I cut you, I'm paying you no matter what. You know? So I guess there's some of that involved, but I don't know. I mean, I don't want to be.
Well, there's also, you know, presumed innocent until proven guilty in a court of law. So, I mean, I think you have to wait until the legal process takes place.
Well, that's what Manfred said, that they're just going to wait until the legal. They're just not going to discuss it until they know everything.
Let the process take you to the answer. You know, and if he is found guilty, then I think you have to suspend him. You know, and if he's found, if he's acquitted, then I guess then it's a slippery slope you're on. You know. Yeah.
Because what happens if you suspend him and then he gets acquitted?
Yeah.
And you find out.
Well, you can't give him back the games. You know what I mean?
No,
you can't do anything.
Yeah, but the games don't even start till April.
Yeah. Well, but who knows when this thing will go through its process? You know.
Right. You know. I'm going to talk just for a quick minute about Daniel Murphy.
Daniel Murphy. Yeah. Okay. And I guess the Mets offered him the qualifying offer, $15.8 million,
and he declined it.
Okay.
Which up until yesterday, every baseball free agent declined
and
the
then three accepted the qualifying offer yesterday.
Now the qualifying offer was $15.8 million.
Right.
And a lot of teams make the qualifying offer just so that they're protected, because in case the player leaves, they get a first-round draft choice. Unless the team finishes in the top 10, the bottom 10, and then they get their second-round pick. Okay. So the Mets, I think, did that more to protect themselves than anything else. But my concern for a guy like Murphy, we over here in New York, we know what we've got with Daniel Murphy.
Yeah.
We know he's a lunkhead when he's running the bases.
Well, sometimes. I mean, you know,
Sometimes.
he also did that sneaky thing. He's got third base against the Dodgers, so he's a gambler.
He is definitely a gambler. And as we know, nobody's 100%.
Got to know when to hold him, know when to fold him, you know.
And he has been part of a couple of the most spectacular plays in the field for the Mets this year. He's been a part of.
Yeah.
But he plays first base, he plays second base, he plays third base. And two of the biggest problems we had this year were third base and first base, okay? Because we don't know what we're getting with Lucas Duda. Lucas Duda hit 26 home runs, but he hit 15 or 6 of them in a 10-day period.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We don't know what's going to happen with David Wright for a whole year. And third base was his natural position.
So why is this, I mean, well, I guess the Mets couldn't do anything but give him the minimum offer, I guess, right?
But the Mets were not going to sign him long term.
Yeah.
I understand that because they've got somebody waiting for him or whatever.
Yeah.
I thought that Murphy would take the deal for 1 year, then he becomes a free agent.
That's right. I mean,
Again.
Yeah, that's right.
That helps him, but I don't know. I just feel that we
Well,
love
and
Murphy.
what do they think he's going to get? 4 years for what? How much?
Like $50 million.
50. Okay. So you know what? He could shake the 15 now if you look at that, because that's more than what it would be for 4 years, right? 50 million over 4 years?
50 million for 4 years is only what?
12 and a half.
12 and a half, right?
12 and a half. So you take 15, you know, why not? He's $3 million ahead.
Right. I don't know. I just feel bad for him because he is going to go, two things. He's going to go to someplace else. And
well, obviously.
Right.
Okay.
He's going to go to someplace else.
Like so Kyle is, right? He's someplace else doing something else.
He's built up no equity with those fans.
Yeah.
Every mistake he makes is going to be magnified.
Well, you were talking about that. You were talking about Albert Pujols.
Well, Albert
what
Pujols,
happened to him?
everybody expected Albert Pujols to hit 80 home runs every time he got up, you know. And I think that that's going to happen with Murphy, is that people are not going to understand who Daniel Murphy is. All they're going to see is that he was a big free agent signing for their team. Have we Met fans not gone through this already?
I think he'd be a good, you know, I think an American League team would be wise to pick him up because, like I say, his bat is always there. You know, you can probably throw him out in the field if you need to. You know, I mean, he's serviceable there for sure.
And,
you know,
and Daniel Murphy is going to regret this next November when the Mets are celebrating being world champions and he's watching it on TV.
How about if he gets traded? How about if he signs with the Kansas City Royals? That could happen, right? I mean,
Yeah.
they're going to lose Zobrist,
Maybe the Mets will get Zobrist.
Yeah, that's right.
We're just getting started here on the Glory Day Show. Right after break, we'll talk about what's going on in the fantasy world of daily sports league, specifically the issues surrounding DraftKings and FanDuel, and if they should be regulated as gambling sites. And later on, we'll talk about some stories that you may not have heard about in our Did You Hear About segment. Stay with us. You're watching the Glory Day Show with Bruce Disco, only on the Inravio TV network. We're coming right back.
For over 60 years, Hanson Carpet has put the customer first, providing only the finest quality products and service. And Hanson Carpet is so much more than just carpet. We also carry a wide selection of window blinds and shades, and our licensed and insured technicians can service any of your flooring or window covering needs. Browse our huge selection of laminate, carpet, linoleum, vinyl, and tile. Stop by our showroom today or visit HansonCarpet.com. No matter what your project, Hanson Carpet has got you covered.
It's always been important to us to have music a part of our lives, part of our children's lives. At Village Music Shop, Bonnie and Chuck have not only made it possible for our kids to learn and understand and read music and enjoy playing a musical instrument, but they've also made it fun.
I really like coming here. I like coming to Village Music because everybody here is nice.
And they've inspired some creativity and imagination and taught them discipline. And along the way, they've gotten some self-confidence, really been like a part of our family.
The world of advertising has changed. Radio, TV, and newspaper revenues have declined drastically. Why? Because businesses have realized that advertising return on investment isn't what it used to be. So what can we do about it? Well, that's easy. Advertise online. Own a local restaurant, real estate agency, or even a national retail chain? Whatever your business, Inravio can get your message out there, and we can do it at a fraction of the cost. Call today and see the difference for yourself. This isn't TV. This isn't radio. This is Inravio.com.
Welcome back to the Glory Day Show here with Bruce and Disco on the Inravio TV network. Daily fantasy sports sites like DraftKings and FanDuel have spent over $220 million on advertising this year to the point of saturating the market and actually becoming annoying. The sites are touting the fact that you can play fantasy sports for a price, of course, but the payoff is weekly and in some cases astronomical. The CEOs of the companies insist there is no skill involved. I don't understand this. And it's a game of chance, therefore not a gambling site. But anyone who has played fantasy football knows that although there's an element of chance involved, there's also a lot of work and knowledge that goes into being successful. It's not the same as scratching off a lottery ticket or picking 5 numbers. The Attorney General of New York and Attorney Generals of New York and Las Vegas think it's gambling and have barred the sites from operating in Nevada and New York. On our phone is Inravio's own fantasy sports expert, the Admiral, who really understands the heart of the matter. Please welcome back to the program, Mike Ferrara. Mike, you out there?
Disco, Mr. B, how you guys doing?
Hey,
How's it going, Admiral? What's going on?
The singing Admiral, the guitar-playing Admiral.
Good, yeah, everything's good. Yeah, you know what? I mean, here's a story with this thing. And, for your viewers that aren't maybe understanding what these sites are all about, they're one-day sports fantasy competition sites where you can play against one person in a one-on-one competition, or they have all sorts of different types of tournaments, very large tournaments that involve hundreds of thousands of people in one game. And, of course, you pay to play. Now, what the issue became on Wednesday is New York State Attorney General Eric Schneiderman decided that these sites represented games of chance and not games of skill, which if you look at the New York State law and his interpretation of it, these sites would then be illegal to be used in New York State. Now, what that brings you to is, first of all, what is their motivation in trying to do this is my first question. I mean, we've got a lot of other forms of legal gambling that, in my mind, are much more games of chance than games of skill. You've got the lottery, which brought in $9 billion in fiscal year 2014-2015. You've got legal horse racing. You've got casinos. You've got, of course, the ultimate gambling operation in Wall Street in New York,
That's right.
So now we've got the situation here where they're trying to group these fantasy sports sites into games of chance. And anybody that knows anything about fantasy sports knows that there is no chance really involved in it at all. I mean, there's a lot of work that goes into being competitive in these sites, whether you're doing, research in the off season or research on a weekly or daily basis. You've got to strategize. I mean, the only element of luck in it is if you choose the player who you project to do well and he actually does well. I mean, that's the only part of it that's really out of your control.
But
so, to me, I mean, I think this is a big overreach on the part of the government in New York State.
You think that it's just a money grab thing? The fact that New York State wants to get, all states want to just get in on it. First of all, I do believe that it should be regulated. I think what happened during September, when anything involves money, okay, when it involves money, everything has to be above board. And it wasn't until
You're absolutely right. And you know what? I do agree that there should be some type of regulation. You want to make sure that there's nothing shady going on.
Yeah.
I mean, you're right. You had that incident in September where there was an employee of one of those sites who wanted a large sum of money on the other site.
$350,000.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that raises question as to, is there some type of illegal sharing of information going on? So, yeah, should it be regulated? Absolutely. But, here's the point, though. It's really not a matter of regulation. Yeah, I believe it is a money grab, in my opinion, because I don't know if you're aware also that there was a class action lawsuit initiated by Pierre Garçon of the Washington Redskins.
Yes.
And the players are now saying they deserve a piece because their likeness is being used, their names are being used in these competitions.
Right.
So they want a little piece of the pie.
Do you think that the blitz, the media blitz, and they brought themselves from just below the surface to way above the surface because of all their advertising and their decisions that they made earlier, or I guess late in the summer in August, September. I said, and when they were flying under the radar, I don't think anybody cared. And now that they're so out there, I think they screwed themselves.
Yeah, I agree, because you know what? They were kind of flying under the radar, and nobody was bothering them. And then, in addition to them still, throwing themselves out there, with a ridiculous amount of advertising. God, I wish I was the advertising rep handling those accounts, because, they're spending just ridiculous amounts of money.
Yeah.
But in addition to that, they were also brought into the forefront with the issue, in September with that player who won all the money, and then you've got the Pierre Garçon saying that he feels that so there was just a whole lot of media attention all at once, and some of it, as you said, was self-inflicted. It's just due to the amount of advertising that they did. But it's just, to me, I'm having difficulty and I'm sure there are laws. I'm certainly not an attorney, but I'm having difficulty when in New York State, there's legal lottery. I mean, I'm looking at the 2014 annual report for the New York State Gaming Commission, and it's a report to Governor Cuomo, and basically it says that the Division of the Lottery produced combined sales and net win from the traditional lottery and video lottery businesses of $9.16 billion, producing a profit of $3.1 billion, allegedly, for the education system.
And that's why we have the greatest education system in the world here in New York State.
Exactly. Exactly.
But I mean, I think all states do that, though. I think there's 44 states that have the lottery.
Mike, would you agree that that all gambling is mostly? I mean, I know there's skill involved, but everything is a game of chance.
That's right. Well, that's what Mike was saying. I mean,
is.
if you look, the analogy you used is the stock market. I mean, that's a gamble too.
Everything is a gamble. I mean, we know fantasy football. You could be the best, most prepared owner and still not win your fantasy league because somebody broke their leg or a tipped ball cost you an interception.
I'll tell you the way I look at this, okay, is if you win, it's a game of skill. And if you lose, it's a game of chance. I mean, that's really what it is. So I think all the attorney generals are losers, is what I think it is. It's the cop of Donald Trump line. They're all losers,
You know what? I have to disagree a little bit, and here's the reason. If you look at lottery, is there any skill involved whatsoever? A dollar and a green, folks. That's all it is.
Right.
You pay your dollar. You probably quick pick. You're not even picking your own numbers, and if you
Right.
are, you're picking your birthday or whatever.
And that is
horse
100% a
racing.
game of chance. Absolutely.
Yeah, exactly. Horse racing, casinos.
Yeah.
I mean, even online sports betting and online casinos are legal in New York if they're based outside of the United States.
I would say I would agree with you, but I would say that there is a percentage of skill involved in some of these
that's
things.
what I'm saying. There
Obviously-
is. I mean, there's no way you can just go with
Right.
with no knowledge whatsoever
Right.
of football or baseball. I don't think you have a prayer to go onto one of those sites and just randomly pick a bunch of numbers or a bunch of players because you like the names and you're going to win anything. You really
Unless,
need
of
to be
course,
prepared.
you're Sammy Stone.
Get him out of there.
I mean, seriously, I will admit that I play on these sites every week, and I do research. I have a formula that I use to decide which players I think are going to perform the best, and then there's also a strategy because there's a salary structure involved in putting together your team.
And
So
you
can't
are
just
a
take the best
self-made. You're a self-made multimillionaire because of it. I just want to read you something real fast.
Here's the bottom line, guys. Here's
Okay.
the bottom line. What's going to wind up happening is, first of all, right now the sites are not shut down.
Right.
The Attorney General had given them 5 business days to reply to his cease and desist order.
Right.
Okay? So they have 5 days to file some kind of stay or whatever.
Right.
Both sites have already contacted New York State and filed lawsuits to prevent the shutdown of their sites. That's already happened. There's also been a rally in New York the other day in front of Schneiderman's office. But let me tell you, let me try to predict what I feel is going to happen. There's a really easy solution to this because any type of gambling, as long as it's an offshore asset that is running the sites,
Right.
New York State cannot prohibit you from sports betting or online casinos. So the very simple solution to this is going to be they're going to have to move their base of operations out of the United States.
And you know what? Since they've already DraftKings and FanDuel have already provided a model, I'm really surprised that hasn't already happened yet. That there hasn't been an off, or just move them.
But here's the attorney. The attorney's going to say, "Where'd you place that bet? You were in New York. They're going to have to take a boat."
No, it doesn't matter though, Bruce.
It
It actually doesn't matter because you can go onto a sports book that's an offshore entity, and you can bet on the Jets this week. If you don't want to bet on the Jets this week, they already lost. But
I'll take that bet.
New York State cannot prevent you from going to an offshore site and placing a bet. So the bottom line is, that's ultimately what I think is going to happen. Is these guys are going to, have to, it's another form of corporate inversion, and more jobs will be lost in the United States because these guys are going to get forced to move their operations out of the country, and it's just more government overreach. And don't get me started on.
Not according to Schneiderman. Schneiderman says daily fantasy sports is neither victimless nor harmless, and it is clear that DraftKings and FanDuel are the leaders of a massive multi-billion-dollar scheme intended to evade the law and fleece sports fans across the country. And I'll bet that you
Schneiderman
thought
must suck at fantasy sports.
I mean, I'll bet you thought that it was just a matter of who's going to play quarterback for you this week.
Exactly. But you know what? The bottom line is, listen, bottom line, guys, these sites are wildly profitable. There's no doubt about it. But I don't think that it's anything that I need to be protected from by my government.
No,
you know
absolutely.
what I'm saying? I'm a big boy.
Yeah.
I understand that there's a profit motive. I understand that these guys are making money. As long as you said, Paul, as long as there's some type of oversight, if they're going to remain in the United States, as long as there's some kind of oversight to make sure that it's done above board and that nobody's getting scammed,
Listen,
then there shouldn't be a problem with it.
nobody's giving away $1 million prize if they aren't taking in $10 million.
Yeah.
You know
Well,
what I
that's
mean?
the thing.
That's
And
just not
it's
happening.
not even that they're taking in that much. I think what they normally do, from what I can see, is I think they seem to take about 10 or 15% off the top.
Right.
So if they're running a particular contest that's a $10,000 contest, I think that they typically pay out $9,000 and take in $10,000.
Right,
It's
right.
around 10 or 15%.
Right. What are you going to do? You're still going to play. We're all still going to play. All I wish is that in 1981, when we started playing fantasy football, I wish we had patented it.
You know what? You know how many people are kicking themselves because they didn't do that?
You know, when they talk about, like, if you really did have a DeLorean that you can go back in time with, what everyone says what they do.
Yeah.
Oh, I'd go back. I'd buy real estate. No, I would have patented fantasy football. Because today,
You'd be a billionaire.
I'd be a big
That's
shot.
true.
All righty, Mike. Thanks a lot for your help.
All right.
All right, guys. Listen, good talking to you, and we'll talk soon.
And we'll see you.
I'll see you at a jam sometime soon, I hope.
Yeah.
When's your next gig?
I have him here. Hold on. I'm going to tell you. Thanksgiving Eve at Coopersmith's in Bayshore.
Okay.
Yes.
Wednesday.
And then at December 4th, Diggers in Riverhead and O'Reilly's Pub in Oakdale the next night.
Okay, cool.
That's pretty
Beautiful
good.
I'll try to catch you
man
one of
there.
those nights for sure.
All righty, Mike. Thanks a lot.
All right, guys. Enjoy the holidays.
You too,
Thanks.
man.
Bye-bye.
We'll take another break here in Glory Days, and when we get back, we'll catch up on some stories you may not have heard about. Stay with us. You're watching the Glory Days Show with Bruce Disco, only on the Inravio TV network. We're coming right back.
The world of advertising has changed. Radio, TV, and newspaper revenues have declined drastically. Why? Because businesses have realized that advertising return on investment isn't what it used to be. So what can we do about it? Well, that's easy. Advertise online. Own a local restaurant, real estate agency, or even a national retail chain? Whatever your business, Inravio can get your message out there, and we can do it at a fraction of the cost. Call today and see the difference for yourself. This isn't TV. This isn't radio. This is Inravio.com. over 60 years, Hanson Carpet has put the customer first, providing only the finest quality products and service. And Hanson Carpet is so much more than just carpet. We also carry a wide selection of window blinds and shades, and our licensed and insured technicians can service any of your flooring or window covering needs. Browse our huge selection of laminate, carpet, linoleum, vinyl, and tile. Stop by our showroom today or visit HansonCarpet.com. No matter what your project, Hanson Carpet has got you covered.
Hey, this is Chris Jake, and if Inravio.com spots you at an event wearing this bracelet, they will give you $100.
Village Music Shop of Mastic. 1-800-HEY-DUDE. Your full-service store with personalized attention, school band instrument rentals and sales, music instruction on all instruments for all styles and age groups, for guitars, drums, amplifiers, PA systems, and accessories. It's Village Music Shop, 1495 Montauk Highway in Mastic. Call 1-800-HEY-DUDE or go to villagemusicshop.com.
Welcome back to the Glory Day Show with Bruce Disco here on the Inravio TV network. If you are a sports fan, and why would you be watching this program if you weren't, you know that you can get all the scores and highlights instantly from other sources on the internet like ESPN. But here on the Glory Day Show, we pride ourselves on trying to find the types of story that would interest you, our twisted yet sophisticated audience. The bizarre, the maudlin, the humorous, and of course, the completely ridiculous. We call this segment, Did You Hear About? Story number one brings us to the great state of New Jersey.
Jeez, okay. The hairy armpit of the East Coast. Okay.
Did you hear about New Jersey Devils co-owner Joshua Harris? He was forced to apologize after his helicopter landed in the middle of a school soccer field on a Sunday night, causing the cancellation of a youth soccer game. Of course, the kids and the parents would certainly understand the trauma and horror that could have been avoided when the helicopter appeared out of nowhere and safely touched down in the middle of the field. Unfortunately, there was nothing wrong with the copter at all. The pilot had just arrived to pick up the billionaire Harris, who was attending the Devils game that went into overtime. Apparently, the soccer field at St. Benedict's Preparatory School is regularly used as a helipad, according to the spokesman from the Prudential Center. The school, which is about 6 minutes from the Prudential Center in Newark by car, has an exclusive agreement with Harris, allowing him to use the soccer field as a landing strip. And I'm sure no money has changed hands.
Of course not.
It seems the error occurred due to a lack of communication between the Heliflight company and the St. Benedict's, failing to check in before beginning the trip. Had they done so, they would have known that Harris was still at the Prudential Center watching the Devils and that a youth soccer game was about to begin. The flight could have then made arrangements to touch down at halftime. Instead, the copter appeared out of nowhere just before the game and a security detail emerged, announcing that Harris had instructed them to land and wait for him to return from the game. Well, the kids' parents and coaches waited in the cold until it became clear that Harris was running late and no one knew when he would show up. That's when the game was finally called. Of course, the parents went on to social media and had this to say: "I'm not sure when or if Harris ever showed up to remove his helicopter from the field, but I hope he had a great night. There are a number of 12-year-olds and youth soccer fans who did not because of Harris's selfish behavior." Harris, who's also the owner, by the way, of the NBA Philadelphia 76ers, said, of course, he was sorry.
I'm sorry.
"I sincerely apologize to the kids and the coaches and their families for the cancellation of their soccer game. As a dad who has spent hundreds of hours watching my kids play sports, I can understand the frustration, and for that, I am truly sorry." Do you really think he spent hundreds of hours watching his kids play sports?
I think so.
I think he watched the films. To make it up to them, Harris said he will be extending an invitation to the coaches, the teams, and their families to be a guest at an upcoming Devils game.
But they're soccer players. They're not hockey
They
players.
could care
You think
less about
exactly
hockey.
right. Exactly.
You know what I mean? And you know what? I bet you he's not really giving them the good seats anyway.
No, I would think that he would. I'm sure he feels bad.
You think he's putting them up in luxury boxes?
I wouldn't doubt it. He's the owner of the team. You know, I think he feels bad about it, and it's bad publicity. So he needs to recover from that. I think that's what he needs to do.
Alrighty, we'll see.
Go to story number 2. All right. Story number 2 takes us up to New England, where fair or not, the Patriots are always synonymously associated with cheating. It doesn't matter if it's football games, Monopoly, or solitaire. Every time they win at anything, they're under scrutiny. They may actually have more gates than Super Bowls, but someone noticed another, well, let's call it an anomaly. Did you hear about the Patriots having won 19 of their last 25 coin flips to start a game? 19 to 25, that's unbelievable. Let that sink in for a second.
It's almost unfathomable. 19 or 25.
It's a game of skill. It's a game of luck. I don't know. Anyway, they successfully predicted the random flip of the coin 19 out of the last 25 times, and I bet you thought it was a 50-50 shot. I thought it was, man. The odds of winning 19 of 25 coin flips, I guess that's 1 million, right? 189.5 million probability. That's about 0.5%. That's over 75% of coin flips. How is that possible? You think they're just that lucky?
I don't think they're lucky.
I don't know. You don't think so?
No.
Patriots like defer.
Look at that guy's face.
Yeah, he looks a little bit like, who's the guy in Star Wars?
Well, keep reading and you'll find out.
All right. Patriots like defer when they win the coin toss and kick off to start the game, so they'll have the ball at the second half. That gives them the advantage, like gaining second half momentum, adjusting to weather conditions. It's also give the Patriots a chance to see what other team's offense is going to do. But is Coach Bill Belichick the incarnation of Lex Luthor, the greatest criminal mind of our time?
Mr. Luthor.
He may not be an evil genius, but it's something the Patriots don't take lightly. Their attention to detail is what's made them so successful so long. It's one of those things that we discussed prior to the game, Coach Bill Belichick said. We try to do what's best for that particular game, for that particular situation. Sometimes we actually withhold that decision until we see what the actual field conditions are for that particular game. But just know that when they know, how do they know they're going to win the coin toss? This is a pretty incredible rate, what is supposed to be a 50-50 chance. And if any other team is running into a string of luck like that, no one would care. But the Patriots, the no stone unturned Patriots, well, there has to be a secret to it, right? What do you think?
I think so.
His evil genius couldn't possibly be so vast to know the statistical probabilities behind different refs being, with the results of the coin flip, could it? Maybe he really has joined the dark side. There he is.
And there he is. That's the emperor.
It's not Lex Luthor, though.
It's not Lex Luthor, but...
You know what? I see like him being in a movie, and he discovers that Lex Luthor is his father. That's what I see happening there.
I think that's copyright. What we should have done, I think maybe next week, we will bring a coin with us.
Okay.
And flip it 25 times. And see what comes up for 25 times.
I tell you who I think would get it right every time.
Who?
Sammy Stone.
Sammy Stone. How are we doing on time? All right.
3 minutes, okay.
All right.
Talk fast.
Finally, here's something I bet you never thought you would ever hear. Russian track and field athletes have been found to be cheating by using steroids.
Ooh, that's really a shock to me.
Did you hear about the World Anti-Doping Agency, the WADA,
WADA,
reporting that the Russian government was sponsoring a countrywide doping program? The findings uncovered what they called a deeply rooted culture of cheating at all levels.
All levels. I like that. The whole culture.
Yeah, it's amazing. The report says that more than 1,400 samples were intentionally and maliciously destroyed by a Moscow laboratory, even after WADA pleaded with them to preserve them. Okay? The International Association of Athletics Federation, the IAAF, IFA?
No,
IAFA?
IAF. Okay.
IAF recommends that 5 athletes and 5 coaches from Russia be banned for life, including 2012 800-meter champion Maria Savanova and bronze medalist Karina Postigova. You know what? I should have put that.
Poltergeist. Okay.
Russia won 24 gold medals in the 2012 Olympics and could face a total ban from the 2016 Olympics in Brazil. But Russia's sports minister, Vitaly Mutko, is calling BS on the WADA. He says that Russia has been following the rules all along.
You know what I say? Moose and squirrel must die.
Mutko even tried to rationalize it, saying, "Believe me, there are many similar doping scandals all over the world. Doping is not a problem of Russia."
Where'd you pick up that Russian accent?
It's just something I do. But the report indicates otherwise, detailing corruption and bribery practices at the highest level.
That's that whole culture of bad news.
The IAF is taking this very seriously, with President Sebastian Coe saying that we need time to properly digest and understand the detailed findings included in the report. However, I have urged the council to start the processing of considering sanctions against all Russian Athletic Federation. They're the IAF. There's a lot of letters here.
Yeah, it is.
Although the report indicates that there was a systematic destruction of positive tests, intimidation of laboratory technicians by secret agents, and the extortions of athletes by officials in charge who wanted to cover up the test results, Russia really doesn't seem to care. As a matter of fact, they're kind of indignant about the whole thing. Here's what some Russian citizens have actually been saying. Boris Ivanov, who's a construction engineer, says, "The West is envious that our athletes achieve good results, so they push forward the doping claims. Everybody takes drugs, Americans and all nations, all of them."
Do you take drugs?
I do.
Okay, all right.
I'm on drugs right now. The former editor of Esquire, Andreev Babinski, said, "We are in a kind of competition, not to say a war with the rest. Everybody knows that everybody cheats, and if we were caught red-handed, it just means that they cheat better than we do."
I think your accent is getting better.
I think so. I have to just get more excited. And you know what, though? There's actually a lot of truth to what he just said.
Yeah.
You know, because we just did a story about the Patriots. Everybody says, "Oh, with deflated footballs, everybody does it."
Yeah.
I don't know about coin flips. But you know what? I think it's just that if you cheat and you don't know how to get away with it, you're going to get caught. Mm-hmm. How many times have you run a red light and not got a ticket?
Several.
There you go. Okay? It's not illegal if you don't get caught.
Or in New Jersey. That's why we live in New York. Because we care about laws. None of our politicians are corrupt, of course.
And in New York, we can't bet on daily fantasy football sites.
That's right. Yeah.
We're almost out of time here on The Glory Day Show. We're going to take a break, and when we come back, we will wrap up for the weekend. Stay with us. You're watching The Glory Day Show with Bruce Disco, only on the Inravio TV network. We're coming right back.
For over 60 years, Hanson Carpet has put the customer first, providing only the finest quality products and service. And Hanson Carpet is so much more than just carpet. We also carry a wide selection of window blinds and shades, and our licensed and insured technicians can service any of your flooring or window covering needs. Browse our huge selection of laminate, carpet, linoleum, vinyl, and tile. Stop by our showroom today or visit HansonCarpet.com. No matter what your project, Hanson Carpet has got you covered.
It's always been important to us to have music a part of our lives, part of our children's lives. At Village Music Shop, Bonnie and Chuck have not only made it possible for our kids to learn and understand and read music and enjoy playing a musical instrument, but they've also made it fun.
I really like coming here. I like coming to Village Music because everybody here is nice.
And they've inspired some creativity and imagination and taught them discipline. And along the way, they've gotten some self-confidence, really been like a part of our family.
The world of advertising has changed. Radio, TV, and newspaper revenues have declined drastically. Why? Because businesses have realized that advertising return on investment isn't what it used to be. So what can we do about it? Well, that's easy. Advertise online. Own a local restaurant, real estate agency, or even a national retail chain? Whatever your business, Inravio can get your message out there. And we can do it at a fraction of the cost. Call today and see the difference for yourself. This isn't TV. This isn't radio. This is Inravio.com.
Welcome back to the Glory Day Show with Bruce and Disco here on the Inravio TV network. So what did we learn today?
I learned plenty of things, man.
What did you learn?
Just to name a few, you have a passable Russian accent.
Thank you, comrade.
Okay. Lex Luthor is really Bill Belichick's father, and that's going to be announced in some kind of movie that we're going to see in the future.
Well, I learned that if you're going to beat your wife up, it's better to make sure that you do it when there's no cameras.
Okay.
Because apparently blood on a sliding glass door is not good enough proof.
Or do it maybe out of the United States, I guess.
I guess, yeah. Well, I also, under with the Bill Belichick thing, he might be the modern day Lex Luthor.
He could be.
But he does look like the Emperor. There's no doubt about that.
Oh,
You know,
man.
I also figured something else out. We cheat better than Russia.
Well, because everybody does it, right? You know, that's right.
We're the best cheaters. Is there a gold medal for cheating?
You know, that's something I forgot to write down, though. It said, when he talked about that, everybody's doing drugs. You said that you were doing drugs right now. So I learned something new today, too, man.
No, see, I always come in on drugs. It makes the show go better. Okay. No, stay away from drugs, kiddies. Hugs rather than drugs.
There you go.
Just say yet.
Yet. Okay, yeah.
Oh boy. And also, the other thing I learned today is that if you're against daily fantasy sports, you're probably not very good at it.
Yeah, well, I mean, that was my point, is if it's a game of chance if you lose, and it's a game of skill if you win.
And we all know how skillful we are. All righty, what do you say we say goodbye?
Let's say goodbye, okay.
Thanks to our producers, Kyle Melnick, and, oh no, Kyle Melnick's not here today.
He's not here today.
Eric
He's somewhere
McKillop.
doing something.
He's somewhere in the swamps of Jersey. Eric McKillop and Bonnie Schultz for all their hard work and making us look so good out here. And thanks to our guest, Mike Ferrara, for coming on and helping us out with all the fantasy sports stuff. Don't forget, you can see Mike and the Anna Jam Band on Thanksgiving Eve at Coopersmiths in Bayshore, and on December 4th at Diggers in Riverhead. And the next night they'll be at O'Reilly's Pub in Oakdale. You can check out their website and their Facebook page by just looking at the screen.
There we go.
Thanks again, Chuck and Bonnie, for putting up with this nonsense week after week. And of course, thanks to you, our loyal viewers. Don't forget, you can check out the Glory Days On Demand page on www.inravio.com. And you can watch any of our past shows or any of the other great shows on the Inravio.com TV network. Have a great weekend, everybody. Stay safe, and we will see you next time.